Welcome to Studio DBA, Eric. I really appreciate the fact that you've come here for our last summer blues brunch of the 2026 year. It was amazing. I was blown away. I've actually never heard you before, except on the different audio that I was listening to on YouTube. But the live
Nice.
show was very impressive.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that we like to talk to musicians because they spend a lot of time on the road and they spend a good amount of time practicing and practicing to come out and give us about 2 hours of joy. And we just want to know a little bit more about what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
where are you going next? What are you up to? When was your last album? When is your next album? What are you up to right now?
Yeah. Well, we are, frequently on the road, and we're about to be heading out again. We're heading out a couple days and going back up to the Midwest. And but we travel around a good bit. We Our last studio record was in 2023. It was called The Deep and the Dirty, and then we had a live record that we actually recorded here in Mississippi,
Oh, wow.
at the Ground Zero in Biloxi.
Oh, I wish you would have recorded it here, but
Well,
next time.
next time, yeah.
Next time.
But
Mhm.
yeah, it's live in Mississippi, so that came out last year,
Mhm.
and we are gonna have a studio record um, coming out, which I'm just starting to kind of put some of the info out
Okay.
about, but that's gonna be in a couple months. So
Wow.
yeah,
Did you play any of those songs today?
did not.
Okay.
I kind of have a habit of kind of waiting until they're out,
Mm-hmm.
um, but we really, when we're on stage, I mean, it's really, I don't really do the same set every show. I don't even write a set list, so we just kind of go with what we feel and draw from the albums, and a couple of tributes to some of my influences and favorites here and
Yeah,
there.
Yellow
But
Moon today. That
yeah,
was a beautiful
yeah,
one. It's
thank
one of
you.
my favorite songs by them. So
Oh,
that was
thank you.
awesome. Um, so where did you come from? Where did you get your start? Where did you start picking up the blues?
Well, I grew up in Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
and there was music around. I was born in Alexandria, Louisiana. I've
Mm-hmm.
spent most of my life in New Orleans, so New Orleans is home.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandparents in Alexandria had a music store, a piano and organ store,
Wow.
and so most of the people on my mom's side played music, and there was family jams and stuff like that. So it was kind of always around. I also just really gravitated to guitar and
Mm-hmm.
wanted to play guitar, and partially it was being surrounded by music, uh, but also watching rock bands and just
Mm-hmm.
just being kind of drawn into that. So yeah, started playing, and eventually
Was it
between.
moving towards rock when you were started playing? Was that
Yeah,
what you were?
yeah. I
Uh-huh.
mean, I mean, it was that was the stuff that grabbed me at first, but
Mm-hmm.
then there was always, um, blues around. I had an uncle that was playing bass, playing blues, and my mom was, listening to records. She had the Etta James and BB King and records, and my uncle had Freddie King, and he would turn me on to him, and so there was always there, and I dug it, and eventually I started moving more in that direction, especially as I started playing,
Mm-hmm.
because I just really felt what it felt like to feel the music playing it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, well, it's nice when you learn a riff and you play the song, but when you just get into that zone and the music takes you on a ride,
Yeah.
that really hooked me into the blues.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to play with other people and improvise with other people and just have that magic happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also, growing up, reading interviews of guitar players that you like, and then you go, oh, well, he says Albert King was a big influence, and
Mm-hmm.
so it might be a guy in a rock band, but he's still drawing you back to the blues.
Absolutely.
Um,
Well,
so.
it didn't. We liked. We're a blues hall. That's what
Hmm.
people consider us. But I think we're more of a Black American music hall of
Hmm.
every iteration that it's been through. And
Yeah.
obviously, rock and roll grew out of the blues. So
Yeah.
so. But
Right.
you also did some funk too. You were getting a little funky
Yeah.
there.
Well, that's the New Orleans
Uh-huh.
influence there. I mean,
It's
it really,
fabulous. Hmm.
um, there's such an interesting thing with the crossing of genres in New Orleans, because there is a lot of jazz and there's a lot of funk and there's a lot of brass bands.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a certain shared language of being able to improvise together and listen to
Mm-hmm.
each other in the
Yeah.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely feel like the funk, is an influence, and even some of the stuff we do that might not occur to people. That, I mean, you heard it, but like
Mm-hmm.
people might hear something and go, "Oh, it sounds fuzzy or something." That's like rock and roll, but there's usually some funk
Mm-hmm.
element and groove
Yeah,
element
it
in
was
there that's
very
really
nice.
important.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very good. I mean, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful show. I was really impressed. I mean, I you just seem very young to be playing at the level you're playing. maybe
Well, thank
maybe
you.
you have a boyish face. I don't know, but it
Well,
was
thank you.
very impressive.
Well, I feel like, again, I've been lucky to be surrounded by a lot of talented people, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, learn, you know, by watching music and playing with people, and I think, I spent a while filling in with different bands. So
Mm-hmm.
I was doing my own thing, and writing music, but then also went and played with funk bands,
Right.
and played with even Zydeco for a
Mm-hmm.
while, and
Awesome.
so all of that stuff
Leaks
kind of
in.
works in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you write all of your music? I mean, most of what you were
hmm
playing today was original music. When did you start writing music yourself?
I started writing pretty early on. Before I was really that proficient on guitar, I
Mm,
think I was writing,
okay.
just because I would just come up with something. It's almost like before you know how to play a lot of songs, it's, you stumble on a few notes that sound good together, and you're like, well, this sounds cool. Like, I don't know how to play most of those songs
Mm-hmm.
on the radio, but
Mm,
like, I've found something here that sounds cool, and then I would start making something out of that.
that's great.
So that was always kind of a thing, and you know, I've written different styles of music, but uh, trying to have stuff that still allows some room to perform it and for it to come to life on stage,
Yeah.
and to not
Right.
not write all the space out of it, I think has been something I've tried to learn over the course of
Mm-hmm.
writing music,
Mm-hmm.
to find that way of getting out your idea, but leaving some space so that in the moment there's some magic that happens.
That's great. Yeah. There was a lot of magic today. Um, so when you're not touring, what does life look like in New Orleans?
Well, lately I've been touring a lot, and to be honest, when I get home, it goes by pretty quick,
Okay.
between getting ready for the next run, and doing some, recording stuff, or you're doing video stuff, or whatever,
Mm,
whatever it is. But I like to go to see other music.
mm-hmm.
I live near the Maple Leaf and
Perfect.
Tipitina's and stuff,
Yeah.
closer
Mm-hmm.
to the Maple Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
So I very frequently will go there. I go see George Porter Jr. on Monday.
Oh, so talk
Um,
about funk.
yeah,
He came here and he was, he played here in the 60s and he was back here recently. And amazing, just
yeah.
amazing talent.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing to be able to see people like that,
Mm-hmm.
that have inspired so many bands that are, arena bands.
Yeah.
The Chili Peppers, they
Yeah.
come and they get George Porter Jr. to sit in because he was an inspiration to them. And like,
Right.
you might see him on a Monday, and it might not be 20 people in there if it's a slow night or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's packed, but
Well,
sometimes,
I'm from New Orleans and I know that it's tripping over each other there as
yeah,
musicians, which I don't, that's why somebody was saying that they saw you in DC or in Virginia recently. Mike Korn was saying that he
yeah,
saw you. And I said, did they know what they were getting? I mean, did that audience appreciate him? Because I just wonder, like, when New Orleans goes out into the
yeah.
rest of the world, are people just like blown away by the riches, that we have?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely think we've gotten a good response in
Mm-hmm.
different places.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're not as overtly, um, you know, as much like a brass band might, like, think people might think New
Oh, New
Orleans
Orleans,
more
yes,
with
right,
that,
yeah,
but
right.
we I certainly like to carry the torch in our own little way. We'll do a Dr. John tune or a Neville Brothers or
Yeah,
whatever, and it's in there,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's the thing. It's in there whether or not people know it's in there. But yeah, we've been received well, and we've started to tour Europe more.
Oh, that's
You know,
great. Awesome.
so we're going
Sorry about
back.
the train.
Oh yeah,
We
it's
do live
fine.
right by the train.
It's authentic.
It's very
It's
authentic.
authentic. Um,
That is not piped in.
yeah.
It's real. Well, as a matter of fact, one of the things with the blues brunches is we were hoping to get more New Orleans and Mobile
Hmm.
people to come in off the train and just come right over to the blues brunch.
Yeah.
So I know it's kind of early for y'all, that you're usually rocking at night, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely different, but it felt good. It was fun. Fun
Good.
to do.
Yeah, I think everybody loved it. Everybody was coming up to you afterwards saying, "This is
Oh, that's
fantastic." And
great.
so, um, is there anything else? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to get across?
Oh,
Or
just yeah, it was great to do it. And if people want to check out stuff, they can
yeah,
ericjohanson.com or just look us
perfect.
up on whatever socials they use, and because we make our way around and we might be close to them. So
Absolutely. Great.
yeah,
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your
yeah,
time.
for sure,
Appreciate it.
for sure.